The recording is on.
And it brings me back.
Okay.
All right.
Your microphone is off.
Don't want to cheat anybody out of time. Let's get started. And, okay. And as I was saying before, let's go ahead and say who I am. Well, I already said who I was. I'm Dr. Dolores Curry, and I left off saying that education is my passion. I am an alumni of San Diego State University, where I received my bachelor's in psychology, an alumni of Cal State San Bernardino, where I received my master's in counseling and guidance, as well as an alumni of University of Southern California, where I received my doctorate in educational leadership. Now, when we talk about building your life, building a blueprint for life being college and career ready, I emphasize the degrees part only because I have climbed that educational hierarchy, and education is very vital, it's very critical, and it opens so many doors. And I get students sometimes that say, you know what, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to spend all the time in school. And so what I tell students is that, you know what, you are lifelong learners, because no matter what you do, even if you end up going and getting a job, you still have to receive some form of education. And so when we talk about college, college can be going to a four-year university, going to a community college, wherever it is a student may want to go. But you know what, college is also that career, because I have not met anyone yet, whether they work at McDonald's, work at Costco, anywhere, that says they were able to start that job without some formal education. So let's get started and let's build our blueprint. So today, our agenda, we're going to talk about what our objective is. We're going to talk about designing a blueprint, the things that you need to do in order to keep education at the forefront. We're going to discuss college and career readiness. We're going to go over the A through G requirements and some other requirements as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about some school programs that can help you. And then there is a little bit of online resources that I'm going to share with you that I think are beneficial and that will help you through the process as well. So today, we are going to do exactly the things that I said, give you a little bit more about the college and career readiness part and that skill. So let's go ahead and let's get started. When you think about building anything, a blueprint, or when you just decide what it is that you want to do, what you have to do is begin with the end in mind. And so as I was thinking about this presentation, and I was like, okay, well, it's definitely for high school students. But then I started thinking about it and I said, you know what, it's for everybody. And the reason it's for everybody is because we all have dreams, we all have goals. And if you have students that are even in elementary, they have to get to the end goal. And the end goal for secondary education is getting that high school diploma. So whether you have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, we're going to start dreaming it. We're going to help them believe in themselves, and we're going to help them make it happen. So when you think of building a blueprint, first thing I thought of is the people that built my house. And, you know, first off, they envision it. So they dream of what they want it to look like. So when they start thinking about it, and I thought about that, and I was like, when I'm thinking about my life, there's dreams that I have too. And I think about each and every one of us. When you're a little kid, I'm pretty sure you guys had a goal and a dream of what it is that you wanted to be. I personally wanted to be a doctor, but not a doctor in education. I was looking to be a neurosurgeon, someone that could go through, cut people up, and help them pull out whatever they needed to be pulled out in the brains and say, okay, I fixed you and now you go do the things that you want to do. But things didn't happen the way I wanted them to be. So I had to do a little bit of exploring. So when you think of exploring, you have to explore your options. What is it that you want to do? Why is it that you want to do it? And most importantly, you go and you got to discover. And when you're discovering, one thing that I can say is during this pandemic, I don't know about you, but I've done so much discovering It has been amazing. I learned so much about who I am, what my strengths are, what I like, what I dislike, where I'm good at, what I need to work on. And when you're discovering, the part of building your blueprint is you need to know those things as well. In counseling my students, one thing that I tell them is you need to know what type of learner you are. If you don't know what type of learner you are, then we have to work on that. And by that, what do I mean? You need to know if you're an audio learner. Do you learn everything just by hearing? Are you a visual learner? Do you learn everything by hearing, by seeing it? So you need to know what type of learner are you? Not only what type of learner are you, but when you study, are you a morning person? Are you a night person? Do you comprehend more during the daytime? Do you comprehend more during the nighttime? And I say that because when I was going through all my programs, I am definitely a night person, and I could study from 10 o'clock at night till 2, 3 in the morning and comprehend everything. But if I tried to start a little bit earlier, it didn't work for me because I had other stuff to do and I had to wind down. So discovery is definitely a part of it. What is it that you want to do? And when you decide what it is that you have dreamed about, the things that you have explored within that, then you create your vision. And then you live your dream and make your vision and make it become a reality. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have told you when you think about stuff, you got to make sure that you write it down. You got to start that planning process. You got to set your goals. You got to execute it and you have to evaluate it. When we talk about building a blueprint, when they build houses, they always look at it and see they have to get the regulations, get the licenses and the different things there. And so when you're looking at education, we got to do those exact same things. You can't just go in and say, okay, I'm here. What's going to happen now? The best student and to help your students is to help them set their goals by grade level. You can even start there. Each grade level, okay, I want to complete the first grade and go on to the second. Well, how am I going to do that? I'm going to study. I'm going to do this. I want to be a doctor. Have them start exploring things. High school, those are things that you do all the time. You start planning, you start setting your goals, set monthly goals. You can set weekly goals. I have students sometimes where sometimes it becomes overwhelming and I say, you know what? We just going to get through day 5. We are starting today and we're going to get through day 5. And once we get through day 5, we're going to start all over next week, look at the things that we need to evaluate, change, and we're going to move on to the next week and we're going to get through another day 5. And the reason why I say is you build your goals and you do it short termly is because when you're doing that, you're able to look back at what it is that you have done and take those things with you as you progress and move forward to the next level. So the one thing that we're going to talk about, and we're talking about becoming college ready. And so when you're talking about college ready, what does it mean? Now, I will tell you this slide is a little personal to me because it lists all the colleges that I actually attended, but there are so many more. So being college ready means, one, that students are academically prepared. They're ready for any post-secondary education or training experience, including study at a 2-year or a 4-year institution, leading to a post-secondary credential. Now that could be a certificate, it could be a license, it could be an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or many more. Just like I said earlier, it is really about lifelong learning. Being ready for college means that a high school graduate has the knowledge and skills necessary to qualify for and succeed in entry-level, credit-bearing college courses without the need for remedial coursework. And if you want to look up any more information on that, that one I pulled from Achieve, but that also aligns with the state of California as well, and everyone else that talks about being college and career ready. We want our students prepared. We want them to take the challenging courses that they need in order to make sure they're ready for the next step. When you're talking about career ready, a career ready student possesses both the necessary knowledge and technical skills needed for employment and their desired career. So what I have before you now is what we have, which is our career technical education. And many of you may have heard of that. We have our CTE programs within our high school programs, and these are some of the clusters that they have that students can go into, and these are our industry sectors. And as you will see with our next slide, we have a variety of them. We have agriculture, natural sciences, art, media and entertainment, education, child development, and family services, engineering and architect, health science and medical technology, information and communication technologies, marketing, sales, and public service transportation. And I didn't name all of them, but there's 15 clusters in California. And this is going to become very important because we're going to talk about some of the programs that are offered to our students that you can have your students enroll in to learn more and get hands-on experiences for the careers that they are interested in joining in the future. And when I say that, even if to get that hands-on experience, sometimes students decide they want to do something and they don't know much about it, but by getting that experience, they could say, you know what, I tried it, this is not for me, let me find something else. Or we get students all the time that say they want to become a doctor, they want to become a lawyer. But what they don't know is there's other occupations within that same field that they can do if they wanted to do something else. So the main thing is you want to give them exposure and let them discover as well themselves to learn more about what it is that they want to do. So the main thing that you're doing when you're creating a blueprint is you have to plan. Now, when it comes to education, there are a couple of things that you need to plan for. And like I said, our end goal is going to be graduation from high school. So we're going to start with those requirements. So when your student gets to high school, or even when they're at the middle school and they're looking at what's next, you need to look at your graduation requirements. I tell students all the time, you need to know what it is that you need to achieve in order to get that next degree. Also, what you're looking at when you're in high school, you're looking at the A through G requirements. Now, the A through G requirements are the requirements, and I'm going to go over those in just a second, but those are the requirements that students need in order to get into and be eligible for a four-year college or university. Now, why am I emphasizing the A through G requirements? My rationale and reasoning for emphasizing the A through G requirements is because when students first come to high school, they may say, you know what, I don't know what I want to do. I'm not sure yet, or I don't want to go to college. I just want to go to work. And in the ninth grade, that's okay. We get that a lot. But here's the thing. Say your student decides they're end of their 10th grade year or 11th grade year, they go on a campus tour or go to a college, or a college presenter comes out and talks to them and they decide, you know what, now I want to go to a four-year college. Well, they cannot, it is no way possible that we are able to help them get into that four-year college with just 2 years, because some of the requirements are 4 years or 3 years. So what we do is we have students from the beginning work on their A through G requirements, and that prepares them for whatever it is that they want to do. Our goal and my goal is to make sure that students have options. I'd rather they say, I don't know what I want to do, but then the sky is the limit, as opposed to saying, well, I want to do this, and then we have to say, no, you can't do this. We have to take a different journey. So let's prepare everybody for the sky. We're also looking at career requirements. When students decide that they're interested in a career, there are programs out there that they can look for and find out what are the requirements in order to get to where I want to go. Admission requirements in order to get into the school, the college, the employment job. Those are things that need to be looked at. So when you're planning, these are things that you need to keep in mind. When you're writing your blueprint, these are things that you need to keep in mind. And basically, a blueprint is just like a four-year plan. It is ongoing and can be adjusted at any time, as well as may need to be adjusted annually. So when you talk about graduation requirements, I just wanted to make sure that you had a sample. For our school, Grand Terrace High School, our students have to achieve 220 credits in order to receive their high school diploma. And that is broken down, as you see, it's broken down by subject and it's broken down by credit. All of our students, in order to receive our diploma, must have 4 years of English, 1 year of US history, 1 year of world history, 1 year of principles of democracy, which is PLD, which is their government class, 1 semester, and 1 semester of economics. Now, there is a requirement and it varies from school to school. Some schools require 3 years of math and some schools require 2 years of math. We require 2 years of math, but according to the state of California, all students must pass 1 year of algebra. There's also 1 year of a physical science, a year of a biological science, and then we give our students 10 credits in, they can choose 1 year of a foreign language, 1 year of a CTE, which is a career technical education course, and 1 year of a fine art. Computer literacy, we actually just got rid of that. And then physical education, they have 2 years, electives, 75, and for a total of 220. As long as students satisfy that requirement, they will receive their college to high school diploma without any problems whatsoever. Now, I will say, as a result of COVID, there have been some changes. For students that may be behind in credits, they have passed Assembly Bill AB 104, where students that are struggling to graduate, instead of being required to complete the full graduation requirements that have been in place forever, they are eligible to graduate with 130 credits. And if your child is in that situation and you have seniors, just make sure you talk to their counselors and they should be able to give you that information. Now we talk about the A through G requirements. And within the A through G requirements, these are the courses, which is what I said before, that the students need to pass in order to be eligible for a four-year college. Now, this is required. They have to have the 2 years of history for A. B is English 4 years, which usually aligns with everyone's graduation requirement. C, there may be a discrepancy because, as you saw for our school, our graduation requirements are 2 years, but the A through G requirement is 3 years. 3 years required. Now, underneath it says 4 years recommended. There is 4 years that is recommended if students are able to do so. And by doing that, what they're doing is they have to realize they're not just competing with students at their school, they're competing with students all over the world. So if they can get those extra recommendations in, then we recommend that they do so. Laboratory science, 2 years required, 3 years recommended. That's your biological and your physical sciences. Now, the difference is for some schools, they only require 1 year of a foreign language, but in order to satisfy the A through G requirements, all students must complete 2 years of the same foreign language and 3 years is recommended. As long as the required courses are completed, the students are okay. For the visual and performing art, they need 1 year and a college preparatory elective. And a college preparatory elective can be an extra science class. It can be a social science class, for example, psychology, or it can also be a math class. But those are what the students need to complete for the A through G requirements. So as your student is planning their future, they want to make sure that they provide themselves options by making sure that they satisfy the A through G requirements. And on the A through G requirements, they must receive a C or better. They do not accept any D's or F's. So if a student receives a D or F, they would have to repeat that class in order to maintain eligibility in order to go to a four-year college. And for those that may be interested in going to college out of state, basically, as a counselor, as long as the students meet the A through G requirements, they pretty much are on track. But what we do is we also encourage the students to do the research and look at the admissions requirement because it may vary from institution. And as well this year with the A through G requirement, I will give a little bit more information about COVID and how that is impacting our students as well. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat and I will make sure that I answer them. I just put this in here, and this is for those parents that may have student athletes. And if you have student athletes, this is the NCAA requirement, what student athletes have to complete in order to be eligible to apply to, in order to be eligible to go to school on an athletic scholarship. And so they have to have 16 cores, and it is broken down by 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. So I just put that in there so people would be able to see it. 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 years of a natural physical science, 1 year of additional social science and additional courses as well. But we always talk about athletes and have some, and sometimes they get neglected. So I wanted to make sure that that was included. Now, the NCAA does require and would like for the students to make sure that they have their A through G requirements as well. So, but they do have this in there. So as long as they're A through G eligible and they're making sure they're taking their courses, they should be okay. And they must complete 10 of the 16 cores by their 7th semester going into their senior year. So when you're talking about and doing your research and discovery, you want to look at the universities and the colleges that you want to attend or the career technical education schools that you want to attend. I just have the UCs and the CSUs on here because those are the ones that we refer to the most. But there's a 3.0 minimum GPA for the UCs. And I will say they want you to complete your A through G requirements and they do a comprehensive review. There's more information on their website. For our incoming freshmen that will start in 2022, the fall of 2022. The SAT and the ACT have been waived this year. They are not using it as a requirement for students to get into a four-year college as well as the CSU system, but the CSU system, they're using it for placement matters only. So if a student is trying to take those classes, take the SAT or ACT, I would not discourage it. They are able to take it. It just will not weigh heavily on their admissions process. Also, this year, as a result of COVID as well, the colleges and universities are accepting pass-fail grades, pass for P for passing grades instead of the letter grades. So you just need to talk to your school and see how that information is coming through or how they're handling that if necessary. The CSU system, same thing. They have information and it starts at a 2.0 level, 2.0 GPA. There are some schools within both of those systems that we discussed that can be impacted. And by that, I mean a lot of people want to go there. So for example, Cal State Long Beach, some people want to go there and graduate, but they have impacted majors. So instead of having a 2.0 minimum GPA, they raise their GPA, which can be higher, to a 3.0 or even higher to screen out people. San Diego State is one of the colleges as well. So this kind of information, this is the type of research that students will do. Find out where you want to go. Most importantly, not only looking at the GPA and the grade point average that they need, but looking at the location of the colleges. Where is it? If you know that you like to be around a lot of people and you want to go somewhere where there's other stuff to do, you may not want to go to San Marcos, you may want to go to San Diego State, or you may want to go to Long Beach. So students need to look at where they feel comfortable and what they want to do. Most importantly, look at what is the major, whatever you're trying to major in, does that university or college have that major that you're intended to major in? And if you're not sure, that's fine. There's other assessments and stuff you can do to find out what it is that you're interested in doing for the future. Now, we do have independent colleges and private schools that students can go to. Listed here is just a few of our local ones, like Cal State University, Cal Baptist University, La Sierra, Loma Linda, University of Redlands, just to name a few. And so what they have is basically the UC and the CSU usually have the same date where you can turn in your application, but they're doing rolling admissions where some are going to be submitting at this time, some are going to be submitting at that time, and these campuses do as well. So when you're doing your research and you're looking for where it is that your kid want to go, look at the colleges that they're interested in attending, find out what they offer, find out what they have, what are their requirements, when are their deadlines. These are things that they need to know. For students, and I encourage them, you can even check in. Now we have everything virtually. You could do a virtual tour. See if that college is for you. See if you enjoy the things that are taking place. Most importantly, get to know yourself, get to know where you want to go, and make sure where you're going is where you would like to be, and they have the things that are available to you. All campuses have some form of programs that are there for students to help them, clubs, organizations, sorority, different things where they can learn, do internships, get involved. And so they definitely want to check out all the colleges and universities to see what it is that they want to do. And I didn't want to be remiss. I definitely want to make sure that I also included information on our historical Black colleges as well. For example, Howard University, Bennett Cookman University, Morehouse College. And if students are interested in going out of state, there are so many colleges out there. But what I will say is we don't think sometimes as students, which is okay, about the weather. So if you don't like it cold, you don't want to go to Chicago if you don't like the windy weather. So you need to start checking into and doing the research of where it is that you want to go. And is it a place where you want to be? I personally do not like the humidity, so I know I don't like going anywhere in Alabama. I visited before, but it's hot during certain times of the year. So those are things that you want to look at as well. And we also have our community colleges, and I'm mentioning them here because they have a lot to offer. You can have a high school diploma or equivalent, or you could be 18 years of age. Now, there's another part of the community colleges that people may not be aware of. And what that is you have concurrent enrollment where students can go to college during high school where it is a lot cheaper than once you graduate. And you can still get, some students have gone and taken the necessary classes and received their associate's degree at a cheaper expense. They were also able to go and get exposure of different classes that they may be interested in. I could say I'm interested in being a child psychologist, but not sure what it entails, but I can take those classes to see what it is that I need to do. So I do encourage you to, check into some of those programs as well. Okay. Now, here's the part that we need to think about as well when we're looking at, and as I say, when you're preparing and putting your plan together, look at the programs that are available at your school. The majority of the schools, actually a lot of the schools, have AVID, Advanced Via Individual Determination, on their campus. AVID serves a wealth of services. They provide a wealth of services for students to help them. I know at our campus, they have students take them on a college tour. Before COVID, they were going on college tour to visit campuses. They provide tutoring for students. They help them with their study skills. They help the student apply for college, get to know information about college. So check and see what your school has. I do encourage, with the next program, we have our AP advanced placement classes and honors classes that students can take and get that extra credit. So when students enroll in the honors program, they in the AP program, instead of a class being regular points, so for example, if I take AP English, I'm gonna get an A in the class, I'm gonna get that extra point. So I'm gonna get 5 points instead of 4 points for that A, which can factor into my GPA. The other part is when they take the AP test, if a student receives a 3 or higher on their AP test, they can also get college credit for that as well too. And if nothing else, by taking the AP and honors courses, they tend to be a little bit more rigorous sometimes than the other courses, and it challenges students. And so they are definitely prepared in order to go into the four-year colleges or universities or whatever it is after high school. They get great preparation within those programs. I mentioned earlier about dual enrollment. And with dual enrollment, as I said, that's concurrent enrollment. The colleges, and I'll just mention Valley College because it is close. Valley College has what they call Valley Now. And what the Valley Now program does is it offers classes that students can take at the college level while still in high school and get college credit. And depending upon the course that they take, they can also get high school credit. But most importantly, what they're getting is exposure and they're getting experience. They're getting exposure to see what college life is like. They're getting exposure to see what college courses are like. And they're getting experience for things that they're interested in learning about that their high school may not offer. They also have, within dual enrollment, they have the university programs too. And I'm sorry, but I just lost the name of it. I was on the tip of my tongue. But they have the classes that even middle school students can take to get exposure as well. So dual enrollment is really great. Some students, like I said, depending upon the classes and if you know what you want, you can take a lot of the classes that you would take in high school once you get to college that you would take in college, and you can satisfy those requirements by doing concurrent enrollment. So check those programs out. The other program that I want to mention, and if you have them on your campus, I definitely encourage students to get enrolled in them and to take the experience, and that is our career pathway program. Those are usually done through our CTE program, our career technical education program, and also through our ROP classes, which is our regional occupational program. Now, within the career pathway programs on our campus here at Grand Terrace High School, we have 3 pathways. We have our art pathway, we have our care medical pathway, and we have our engineering pathway. These programs not only provide exposure to our students where they can learn about different careers, but they can also provide internships for our students. They also can provide scholarships for our students where they would learn more information and can get money by completing it. A lot of the programs have certifications.
So we're going to, I think you can hear me on the other screen. So within the Career Pathways programs, it is a prime opportunity for students to be able to take it and for students to learn what it is that they need to learn in order to be eligible to receive hands-on experience for the classes that they need. Uh-oh. Okay, so the next thing on there, and it'll come back shortly, I hope, but the next thing on the presentation we're talking about is special education. So if you have a student that's in special education, you want to make sure that you learn all the resources that are available to them. Are you guys still able to hear me? Yes, okay, good. You want to make sure that there's resources available. And by that, I mean, what services do they provide? If they need tutoring, what tutoring services are provided? You want to definitely make sure that you keep in contact with the case carrier within the special education program.
Within the special education program, because you want to make sure that they receive all the resources that they need. And then the next one on the list is English learners. All of our schools have services for English learners that they can provide and make sure that they get the assistance that they need. So you want to make sure that you just definitely tap into all the resources. I'm gonna go back for a second because I'm not sure if it was recording or not, but we had talked about the career pathways. So I just want to make sure that I just mentioned with special education, you definitely want to work with your case carriers to make sure you receive the services, wanted to make sure that that was repeated, and 504s. If your student has a 504 in place, you want to make sure that that's done annually or every 2 years, no later than that, to update the services, but make sure it's provided to all the students. And here's the thing with special education, with 504s, with EL learners, there are resources available for all students, even when they go to college. So you definitely want to make sure those services are there and get the assistance needed for your student in order to make sure they achieve and accomplish their goals as well. We have services for everyone. Now, one of the programs that we have, if students are struggling, one of the programs that we have is student study teams, where we work with the students to find out what's going on. We work with the students, we work with the parents and figure out how we can better service them. So you want to make sure if your student is struggling, please do not hesitate to contact the school and talk to the counselor, talk to administration, talk to the teachers to make sure that your student get the resources that they need. And when you're going through these programs and as you're building their skills and as you're creating their blueprints, you definitely want to make sure you put down this information that they need. There's a program, Disabled Student Services, that is there to help the students accomplish the things that they need to do, provide them with tutoring, provide them with other services as well. So you just want to make sure that you include that information. And for one of the last program that's listed on here is outreach programs. A lot of the colleges and universities have outreach programs. For example, they have educational talent search, they have Upward Bound, and these are programs that help students learn more about college, learn more about careers, learn more about what they need to do in order to continue in post-secondary education. They take them on field trips to different universities, to different places that will give them exposure to life after high school. So if you have those, find out what program is on your campus, because every campus does not necessarily have all of them. We have a Gear Up program as well. So find out what's there for your students, see if your student is eligible to participate, and put them in these different programs to help them be successful, to help them learn about themselves, to help them learn what it is that they want to do, what it is that they're trying to do so they can move forward. Now, here's a couple of online resources, and I definitely want to highlight one. And if you don't use any of them, which you will, but one of the ones that I like is the californiacolleges.edu. And the reason why I highlight that one is because it is free to both students and parents. They have a wealth of resources on there where you can learn about, if you want to learn what type of learner you are, they have assessments that students can take to learn what type of learner that they are. If they're looking to explore colleges, they can look at different colleges on there and look at what it is they want to do. If they're looking at different careers, they can do that as well too. College Board is good. That is the one that provides the SAT testing, but they also have resources on there as well for students to figure out, what should I be doing in my 9th grade year? What should I be doing in my 10th grade year? What is recommended that I do here? They also have a program where students can receive scholarships, both the College Board with the SAT as well as the ACT. They have opportunities for students to receive scholarships as well. So I encourage students to look at it. I encourage parents to look at it, and definitely look at the services that are free. If you have any questions, because there is so much information that comes out there that you may not know about yourself, make sure you talk to your counselor, make sure you talk to your teachers and find out what's available. And especially if your student is in a career pathway program, look at the resources that are available there too. You can look at and check out all the colleges. I have the colleges listed there, information. You can go on to any of the colleges' website and you can tour their campus. You can see what's available to them. This day and age with technology, there is no reason why you should go into anything not knowing what to somewhat expect. Now, the experience once you get there may be a little bit different, but you can always look at what's available to your son, to your daughter, and find out different things so they're making their best choices with well-informed information. Scholarships, if you're looking for scholarships, one of the websites is fastweb.com. Now that is a free service, and you can go on there and find out they have scholarships for everyone. There's a scholarship if you have pimples. There's a scholarship if you write left-handed. So there's scholarships for everything, and the most important part, it is free. But the other part is make sure you fill out the FAFSA for financial aid when it comes to their senior year, because they do provide grants and scholarships in there. Most importantly, these are some of the resources that are available. There are so many more out there, and your schools have resources as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you check into them. But when I talk about students, when I talk about your blueprint, when I talk about doing what needs to be done, the most important thing is to get out there, get started. Walt Disney says the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So find out about your student. What is it that they like? What is it that they enjoy? What is it that they need help in? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Because those are key and vital things that's going to help them progress through life in the future. And so I encourage you to, when you start doing a plan, you know what? Start exploring, start doing your research, Start figuring it out what it is that your students need to do. When it comes to studying, one thing I tell students all the time, if you're not doing well in the class, that might mean that you need to study a little bit harder. Have a place, set a schedule, prepare with time management, do the things that are best and start practicing it and doing it now, because once they get out of high school, once they get to that next level, everything that they learn and that you instill in them is going to be something that they will take with them for the future. So I will say, as I say with all of my students, and I would like to leave you guys with one of the poems that is one of my favorite poems, and it is called Follow Your Dream. And it's follow your dream, take one step at a time, and don't settle for less, just continue to climb. Follow your dream. If you stumble, don't stop and lose sight of your goal. Press on to the top. For only on top can we see the whole view. Can we see what we've done and what we can do? Can we then have the vision to seek something new? Press on and follow your dream. So as you're creating, as you're getting ready to do a blueprint for life, as you're getting ready to help your child navigate through the educational system, number one, do know that you are not alone and there are people there to help you. And most importantly, you have to do your research and you have to make sure that whatever services are provided, that I won't say services, whatever needs your student has, there is a service that's provided to help them out. So I encourage you guys to continue to be strong, do what it is that you need to do. And as I say, if you haven't started yet, you're never too old to set goals and set dreams and have a new dream. So you can start now, but definitely work with your kids, put stuff down, and just start working with them from there and help them to achieve their goals. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for staying with me during all of the technical issues that we have had, but we do have a little bit of time. And if you have any questions whatsoever, I would like to entertain those and answer them at this time. So feel free, you can unmute, you can put it in the chat, whatever it is that you need to do. But I will definitely like to answer your questions.
Ms. Dolores, I have a question.
Yes.
I know that there's timelines for applications, for example, college applications like FAFSA or, the free money that the government has. I know before it used to be March.
For the FAFSA application, the deadline is March 2nd. That has not changed. But what has changed is in the past, students they opened up the application process in January, but what they're doing now is they're opening up the application process in October, because the deadline for California schools, the CSU and the UC system, is November 30th. Now they are doing something a little bit different this year, where there's going to be enrollment where, depending upon the college that you're applying for, it might have their deadline extended beyond November 30th, December 15th. So what I encourage the students to do is you can go on to the Cal State and the UC system and see. UC system has not changed, it's November 30th, but look and see and fill out the applications. All of the applications open up October 1st. October 1st for the CSU system, they start opening it up to where they can start looking at the applications and filling them out. And the October 1st, UC system, they can start filling out the UC system as well, but they can't start submitting their applications until November 1st.
November.
Yes, so they need to start looking, but the deadline is originally, it used to be hard set deadline is November 30th, but we did the training yesterday, and for the CSU systems, some of the colleges will have a deadline that will be in December too. So they just need to look at the college that they're applying for. When you're looking, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it, but when you're looking at like the private universities, the private colleges and independent colleges, some of them have rolling admissions. I know USC only because I have quite a few students that have applied there. So USC, like their early admissions is like in December, but their admission deadline is like January. So what I tell students is it varies, especially during the time of COVID. There have been so many adjustments that have been made that colleges and universities are doing. So they have to make sure that they read the information. And if they don't understand it, don't hesitate, go to their counselors and ask them.
Okay, okay. And what about for the Cal Grant?
For the Cal Grant, all students need to make sure that they fill out the FAFSA form, and that is free. And it is, the deadline is March 2nd, but they can start filling that out as well starting in October. So what they did is they've extended the time frame, because before it was just in January where they started, but now they can start applying. When they start applying to colleges, they can also complete their financial aid application as well. And I will say a lot of colleges and universities, as well as the high schools, have college application workshops, as well as financial aid workshops. And I do encourage students to participate in those, because if you have any questions, you have any special circumstances, there is someone there that can answer that question for you. So I do recommend that they do participate in that.
Okay, thank you.
You are more than welcome. Are there any other questions? No other questions? Okay, well, I do also will encourage you, once students get into high school, we do have 4-year plans where they can sort of set up their years. 9th grade year, the classes they're going to take, 10th grade year, the classes that they're going to take. It is a revolving plan because it can be adjusted each year, but just make sure you go through that. And if anyone has any questions, my email address is listed on here. You can feel free, if you have a question later or need help with anything, feel free to email me and I will get back to you. And I do apologize. It says it is Dr. Educated, should be EDU. CATE. I tell you, sometimes when you're doing stuff and with all the changes, it flips and it messes up. So it's Dr. Educate, DRDEDUCATE@gmail.com.
Well, you are also dedicated, so.
I try, I do what I have to do, and not only for my school, the students that I serve, but if there's anybody that has questions that need help, I am more than willing to help, because my goal is somebody help me get to where I have gotten to, and I have to help students get to where they want to go to. And sometimes I even help parents because they decide that they want to go back and get their education as well. So most importantly, if you need me, don't hesitate to contact me.
Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. You guys, thank you so much. I can't say again, with all of the technology and all the different things we've gone through, thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And we still got done on time. So I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. And continue to help your students be fearless, dream big, be themselves, start living, work hard, and stay strong. And they can accomplish anything that they set their minds to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for participating today. If you wanted to, later on time, wanted to have access to this recording, it's gonna be available in the Whova platform. Anytime you wanna access and go back, you're welcome to listen to it again. Thank you, Doctor.